Good evening, everybody. I'll turn the camera over here in just a second, but just wanted to make sure you can hear me okay. I'm doing a little different microphone thing tonight, and I just wanted to be sure. And if you can't hear me, let's see if you can. No, seriously, can you hear me okay? I hope somebody can type something in. Oh, good. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Good. Cool. That made me jump. Okay, good deal. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I welcome to all of you non-Super Bowl people. This is great. I had no idea who we would have tonight, and I am thrilled that you guys are here. We'll move on through tonight because I know there's football in the air, and some of us are just not participating, so that's fine. All right, good deal. Thanks, guys. And yet, I have a little sports analogy that we're going to talk about tonight that I thought was kind of fun about playing the top of our own game, like they're trying to play tonight in the other game. So I have a great card for us tonight. Well, I don't think we've picked this one before, the Ace of Wands. And you're going to like this one now. I'm not kidding. This is worth coming to here for instead of watching a game. So this is about new ideas, the seed of potential, the arrival of inspiration, illumination, and intense creativity. The mirror-like nature of consciousness. Wow, stop and think about that one for a minute. The mirror-like nature of consciousness, the interconnectedness of all things, the ability to manifest anything. On the shadow, feeling uninspired, creative blocks, the mind needing rest, unfocused energy resulting in burnout, a time to bolster your faith in yourself. It says this ace contains all the sparks for all the ideas, and they are generating intensely powerful light for you right now. She is connecting you with the one cosmic mind, universal consciousness, and her delightfully magical soup that is brimming with colossal. Oh, wait a minute. Let me try that one again. A universal consciousness and her delightfully magical soup that is brimming with colossal creativity. All right. A flame burns here that is meant for you, but hasn't been put to use yet. What will you create with this boundless potential? Stay open to receive inspiration and insight. You may be shown new information about your divine purpose or soul push, or you may even feel compelled to put something completely new into the world. If it feels good, it probably is good. And even though this ace can only predict the inception of something new, it also suggests that all of the energy to bring this project, idea, or feeling to a successful completion is available to you. And the quote is, I seed my brilliant future with roots of creativity and inspiration. Boom. And I wasn't going to talk about this tonight, but I will now that we drew that card. It is really cool. Jenny says, I've been pulling that card a lot lately. Awesome. That is great. Hi, Melissa. Good to see you in here. Glad everybody's here tonight. Okay, so this is talking about the seed spark of ideas, right? And not the fulfillment of them, right? Not the conclusion, but the inspiration, the initial. So something new is beginning. Something is closing here and opening here. And that's the idea of this. And then, of course, we apply our highest timeline to basically try, and this is what we're going to talk about here in a minute too, is to try to ride that high level of inspiration and cut the low level stuff of feeling uninspired, the creative blocks, the mind needing rest, the unfocused energy resulting in burnout. Time to bolster your faith in yourself. So a lot has been shifting in my own life of late. I think you know from the Caroline Horn podcast that I was out in California a couple of weeks ago, and things have really progressed in a way that, well, if I could zoom this camera out, it's like I cut a path, but there are boxes on either side of me. Barely, I'm tripping over stuff and it's dangerous. I literally tripped and hit my head the other night. I was like, oh, you've got to just get through this. But I'm packing up and I'm not telling the whole details of this. And I think that still is even in the spirit of this card. But the other thing that I was going to show you guys tonight, for those of you who are into astrology, I got an email overnight and I had turned my phone off because it was just bothering me. Even though the ringer was off, I had alarm set and the whole thing. This is the Astro Gold phone program, and I think it's only available for the iPhone. But I got an email this morning that they have added, if you can see in that little up in the corner right over here is a globe. I woke up this morning not ready to get up, but when I saw this email, I was like, oh my. They have added Astro Maps to Astro Gold for the iPhone. Go figure. And these are not just maps. There's United, this is my chart, and there's Europe, These are not just maps. These are maps, okay? So look at this. I just wanted to show you this so here's the deal. So typically these maps on most of these programs show you a wider view, and then you can, like some of them say, well, okay, then you can zoom into a particular area, maybe a little closer. And this is my Venus line, the one that's going up and down right there. That's Venus. And you can see it kind of cuts. It's just off the coast there in Tampa. That's close enough. Tampa's a good spot for me for the Venus line. Goes right up just adjacent to the east side of Atlanta right there. And then comes on up into North Carolina. But look at this. This is what they've done with this thing. I hope I can show you. Let me see where I am. Yeah, I'm pretty close. There you can see Asheville. Now I'm just a little bit west of Asheville, but you can zoom in and look at this. I'm trying to see this where I can look at this. So where am I now? Oh, that's Sky Valley. So you go up here. There's Bryson. That's where Darnell Farms is. So I'm over here I'm over here a little bit from this. I've already moved the map over, but you can find your line. And then, look at this. You can zoom in. There's the Venus line. You can zoom literally all the way in, and it even has roads. Look at that. This is not available on any other astrology program. But wait, there's more. See the name of that road? So you can drill down, and what I'm going to do before I leave this area in the van, we're going to be going on a road trip together, gang. And what I'm going to do is go stand right on an intersection of my Venus line, and I'll show it on the video, but I'll show it on the map. And then I'm going to go stand in the other location is right on my Jupiter line. And I've already marked an intersection of both of these where I can do that and stand in on it. But you can see, that's a hiking. This squiggly green line is a hiking trail on the map. It's that precise. So I own, let's see, what all do I have? I have Astro Gold, and I use a Mac all the time because that's what all my production stuff is on. I have a Windows, I bought this little cheap Windows computer to do the astro reports and stuff like that. And I have Janus, Solar Fire, and then the Sirius/Kepler program designed by David Cochran. And I looked at all of them today. And then I looked at astro.com and I looked at astro-seek.com. So I looked at everything basically where you can get an astro map. This is by far way and above. In fact, I showed it to Robert. We were talking about it in context of moving over to the Jupiter line. And he pulled up his Kepler and he was starting to get mad at it because it's not anything close. And David has left his company. So that software is not going to get developed anymore. So I'm just telling you, in the Astro game, if you have an iPhone, you can get the Astro Gold. This is a little pricey if you upgrade. And I don't know if you have to upgrade. You can just do the free version of the maps, then it's $25. So not bad. So yeah. And then some questions here. Yeah. And I am so telling you that between these two lines, which if you have these two lines in the locality of where you live, like your continent, your country, something that's reasonable for you to travel, it would be great if you could make your way there and spend some time there. It's hard to do it to just, for a 3 or 4 day weekend kind of thing. You have to plant it there. But the Venus line is more of a line of feeling at home. You can be blessed financially. You can be blessed in a relationship. Obviously, that's something that can happen. But it more so just feels comfortable. It feels home. It feels like you've arrived in that spot that you've been looking for all your life, but you haven't found yet. And that's exactly how this place has felt for me. And it's with bittersweetness that I embark on this new journey. But I'll be moving, literally, I calculated it because, on Google Maps, you can go mark a point and then do a measured distance, 10.5 miles from my Jupiter line, from that intersection where I'm going to stand and shoot a video where I will be sleeping is 10.5 miles from that Jupiter line. And already several Jupiter things have already shown up. So, yeah, if London is your spot there, then that would be something that would be interesting to do for sure. Yeah. So it is really amazing that this thing drills down that far, because the other maps on the other programs will get you close. And astro.com, the free one, is really one of the best ones out there. It truly is. And it's accurate. So, you can get it online. You don't have to spend money for this. But I'm just saying that if you want that on your phone, where you can really study it and really drill down on it, it is super fun. And I'm going to actually do as I'm doing this, we're going to talk more about astrocartography and how to find it and what to do with it, so that it's not just this big mystery. Because once you boil it down to a couple of things, it is so really simple that it's like, why do we not all follow this? Why do we not all allow this influence into our lives? Well, it's because we don't understand it primarily. So I'll tell you what, Kelly, neither can I. And already some pretty magical things have happened. So I'm excited about it. I truly am. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. All right. I know, a lot of us, a lot of distraction in the space tonight. It's kind of like trying to do this on Christmas Eve, but we're here. We keep rolling. So I thought about, okay, so, you might even be in a place where there's a game on in the other room. And, there are so many game analogies. Let's see here. I know Jack's on his Jupiter line. I think, aren't you, Jack? Or is that in another place? I can't remember. But yeah, he's on it now in Albuquerque. And I know, he got side slammed, but yeah, 40 miles is the same as being right on it. He got side slammed there, And so Jupiter magnifies, but I just know, and also at the same time, Jack's new job is going as well as a job has ever had for him. So I think the thing that was purged is something that needed to be purged, and we'll move on, and that there are going to be a lot of good things ahead for Jack, regardless of where he is, whether he's there or, yeah, he is feeling that shift, and that's awesome. Great, glad you're in here tonight. Thank you. Good to see you, bud. Here's the deal, Michelle. This is great because the end of the year, the hosting company that I'm with, which is called Buzzsprout, where the podcasts play from. They give us an end of the year kind of stats thing. And across the board of all three podcasts, Subconscious Mind Mastery, Fun Astrology, and Old Soul, New Soul, Los Angeles of the United States. Now we are also pretty big in Australia, which is great. I love that. So Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, we're all big cities, but Los Angeles, Chicago, Denver, let's see, what else was on there? I think Boston was in the list, but Los Angeles was the biggest city in the United States of listeners, of where it plays from, and they know all those stats, right? Because you play it from your phone, and boy, that logs everything. So I am just excited. I'm just, it's really cool. And you talk about, kind of this kind of feeling is, like when you just, like the card we drew, see, that card is a reflection of the vibration. I'm pulling it for all of us. I held the deck to my chest and I said, what is the card for us tonight? But you're also getting a flow through of kind of, of the person drawing the card as well. So I'm very much looking forward to it, and the story will continue to unfold, and it has a lot of wow to it, but I just can't go into all of the details just yet. But I was thinking about these analogies of how do we perform our best. So some people are watching others perform. I think you guys are you guys are focused on performing. You're playing, not watching. So the goal of any athlete, whether it's a skier or whatever, or a team like what's going on tonight, the goal is obviously to win. And if you can do it within the rules, basically at all cost, right? So they send scouts out to junior high and high school football teams and basketball, and they know what's coming up. They know the young talent out there and all the training and the training facilities and the coaching staffs. And either a coach obviously wins or they're fired, right? And you think about these machines that are created in order to win Super Bowls or Kentucky Derbies. I know a guy, my kids went to school with him in Dallas, who became a billionaire by selling the business, and he got into horse racing. And the operation that he created in Kentucky, and he's won 3 or 4 or 5 Kentucky Derbies. Just a massive machine. So that's another part of the organization and what it takes to perform on the level of this that we're seeing tonight that might be going on in another part of your house. And always, we know this, that the best overall package at the time of that competition usually wins, right? So the team with the best strategy, who executes the best. I saw just before here that Kansas City was not executing so well. The team with the best conditioning, and this is so important. The team with obviously the best motivation. That there's our space. There's the mental space. Those are the ones that are going to consistently win. And these top performers don't come to play at the top of their game. They are the top of their game every day and every hour, not just on game day. When I was in Colorado, I followed skiers. And back then, let's see, Michaela Schiffin is now the top women's skier. And then the two that were before her, and the names are going to slip me, but I watched them play. I watched them perform and train. And the way that they train and the way that they perform is like embodies their entire lifestyle. It's everything they do. I watched Michaela was really good about putting her stuff up on Facebook. And when she went to the gym and what she did in the gym and how she ate and all of this stuff was like every day, all day, she lives her game. But then one of the other things about it is, and I have a point of that in here, is when they rest, they know how to rest. But people who are playing their best games invest in the game. So they invest mentally. They know how the game is played, right? And they spend money on the mental game. They hire, like top performing athletes, hire their own mental game coaches. They invest physically. And that's not only hours in the gym, which of course they spend hours and hours and hours, but it's, they realize that their physical body is the machine that allows them to perform in that sport. They take care of it. They keep it toned. They keep it trained, even in the off season. I love the idea of the game filming technique, and that's just watching the other team, looking for their weaknesses, looking for their strengths. How are you going to adjust to their game? And the idea is for a whole week, the team strategizes of how they're going to perform, and then hopefully they go out and execute it. And then obviously these top performers invest in coaches, whether they're individual sports or team sports, but somebody who can see beyond them, their own selves, and help them tweak their performance and guide them strategically. So you think about if a team does that to win, if these things were unnecessary, would they spend the money? No way. But they know that major dollars have to be committed to all of these areas. So in other words, a big investment collectively into all of these areas in order to perform and to play the best. Now, here's one that when somebody gets hot fast, it always creates distractions. And I've seen this when I covered for about almost 20 years. I covered this television show called The Bassmasters. I was on the production crew and ended up, kind of co-producing the TV show for a long time. And I watched these. Now, these are individual athletes, if you will. Bubba, yeah, it's a Bubba sport. It sure is. But they are performing at the top of their game. And I saw the ones who were, and I saw the ones who weren't. And you always knew who the likely candidates were to win a tournament. And you would see these guys come up hot and fast and quick. And then all of a sudden the sponsors want to talk to them and their press wants an interview and the crowd is around and they want autographs and all this. And they get distracted when they start winning big and their performance dips. And some of them pull out, they remove the distractions and they get back on their game. But some of them become one-hit wonders. And I was just seeing before we came on tonight that Kansas City is having a struggle. And I felt before, the reason I'm not watching the game is I kind of felt that the other team was going to win because there is just so much buzz around Kansas City that how could they focus? And that is a real big one for us, especially when we get into situations like I'm in now, where this move is distracting. Now, you have to look at what's the context, but I'm doing everything I can do within what I have to do in order to facilitate this. I'm doing it all by myself. And I know that I'm distracted. So what I've been doing is kind of surrounding, like, people close to me. I've been saying, hey, would you, in this area, would you watch my back? Please watch for a mistake. I need advice. I need help. And I think that's a big one, is to realize when the distractions come, boy, they can catch you quick, and they catch you because you're distracted. That's the very point. And then I mentioned this before, but amidst all the training and all the intensity, they also know how to shut it off. And you see that a lot. You see that a lot in the Olympics, right? Here they talk about distractions, and these athletes they'll have the eye blocks, eye shades, and headphones on. I mean, they're just in their own little bubble as their event. They're getting ready, and they're isolating themselves and zoning in. And that's something that I think we have to do as well. So just a couple of recaps here. If we want to play this game of life, we obviously have to realize that it is mental first. And you wouldn't be in here if you didn't realize that. But we have to, I think, collectively, I think if you looked at all of us, there are areas where we could up our performance. And that becomes a personal decision, is what does that mean for us? And a lot of that should be intuitively and internally guided. What is top performance for you? It may not be the same thing as me. It probably isn't. But we have to be able to determine that from our own intuition and know whether we're deficient in that or not. And if not, what does it take to up our game? Because it's all us. And the reason that I think that is so important is because there are so many things around us in our culture, in our jobs, yes, in our families, in our environments, that will pull us off of our game. And it's especially true in this arena of life because there aren't many people playing full out. I mean, if you're part of the Kansas City Chiefs or the San Francisco 49ers, you have a whole organization around you to keep you at least on that pedestal of motivated performance. You don't have that at your school. You don't have that at your job, your office, your workplace. You don't have that perhaps in your family, where family politics and family games might pull you away from what you get here, for example, on Sunday night. So we do have to surround ourselves with like-minded people. We have to have a team. And that's one of the great things that this has developed into, obviously. And another thing we have to do is find the things that work in our lives. I wish I could remember those other two women skiers. Who, if any of you all were into skiing and you know who they were, it's the two that retired over the last 5 years. And then Michaela Schiffin came up to the top. But they all had different styles. And some of it was dependent on their own physique. Some were shorter, some were taller. Shorter skiers could angle better at some gates. The taller skiers had a little more leg muscle to work with. They could power in a little better sometimes. Different techniques, both win, both effective. But we have to find strategies in our own environment that work for us. Fred Dodson contributed so much to the turning around of my life. And some people, Fred doesn't resonate with. They don't connect. Wayne Dyer might be somebody that helped you in your early game. And for others, they, don't see it. So a lot of the determining is just sampling different things. And then when we find something that we can look up to, it's one of those, the typical thing that you Use it until you master it, and you then create your own game. And then you take the baton. And then you find somebody who is now above you, who you can reach up to, that's higher than you, that has done more than you. And the point that you stop doing that is the point you become static. So the other point is that we get help when we need it. That's climbing that ladder of performance. And the other, it never hurts to look at a pro sport, and maybe there's something that would interest you enough that you could look into it and see who the leaders are in that field, in that game, and find professional athletes on whatever level, or Olympic athletes that you respect, and dissect their lives, game film what they're doing. There's a lot of stuff on Instagram and YouTube and all these social channels now that you can find out so much about these people and see how they play their game. And maybe there are a couple of points in there that you might think of how you could create your own analogy in this game that we play. But I just thought that those were some kind of, as we're focused on football this weekend, that we could pull from a sports analogy of saying, yeah, you know what? I get it. Found myself to be a little bit lethargic in some of these areas, and I need to game up a little bit. So hope that helps a wee bit. Mary Ross, if you're still here, I was wondering how you're doing. Mary was experiencing some challenging health issues, and I just wanted to know if you are, how you're coming along. And then I don't see her in tonight, but Brenda is facing a really challenging situation with her grandchild and child. So we definitely want to remember Brenda as well. But anybody else have anything that you would like to at least have brought up to the surface as we go into our meditation tonight? Why, definitely drop it in the chat and I'll put it up on the screen. But let's go into our time together here, and just with that thought of our highest timeline, our highest performance, and how we're going to achieve that, and how we're going to do that in our own lives. And I know as we visualize ourselves together, we draw on that group energy. We draw on that group togetherness. And it always seems fitting, we've done this quite a bit at the beginning, to do an Om together. And if we think of ourselves collectively in a beautiful place, that an Om softly chanted from a number of people on the beach together would be a gorgeous sound. So let's create it together. There's just something stilling about that sound, isn't there? Let's think of these needs that Mary as well, and Brenda, and whatever might be in your own space. Just bring it on in. And as we center inside and scan up and down your chakra line, think about your performance level overall. It's so individualized. There's no way that we can say that it's a on par kind of competition, if you will. Here, it's you performing in your life to whatever level. So as you're scanning up and down your chakras, perhaps starting at the root, moving up, or scanning back down from the top down. And you feel these different energy centers of our being, of our soul. How is your performance? If this were the night of the big game for you and your journey, would you have a chance at winning? If yes, great. Keep on keeping on and reach higher. If you think, oh, no, it's okay. Hopefully, some of the things we talked about tonight might, one point or two, might be of benefit. Just take a step higher, step above. And with a lot of challenges and illnesses and job challenges and everything else, it could be that you've kind of been knocked back and just need a hug. Well, here's a big one from all of us. Yesterday is gone, but we have tomorrow. So we just start right where we are. And what kind of game level do you want to play? There's junior high football and there's the Super Bowl and everything in between. There's recreational skiing and there's the World Cup. Everything in between. Your level is your choice. And it's not like you have to be on all the time either. It's okay to have a down day. So I think perhaps focus on your heart chakra for a moment. Center into that emotional focal point of our being. Boy, I learned with what I've been through the last 10 years how emotionally triggering or centering the heart is. It is. That physical organ beating inside of you controls your emotions. Let me just tell you. So be good to your heart. And just give yourself some love, because that's the highest emotion. Why not start at the top, right? Give yourself some love. If you want to, wrap your arms around your shoulders and give yourself a hug as best you can. You need it. You deserve it. And then just say out loud to the collective gathered here, I love you. And that means everybody. I love you. As we all say that together a couple of times, we all interchange it with each other. I love you. I love you and you and you and you. And maybe there will be some little inspiration of what you might do on your next level of performance. What would that mean? Changing a behavior, changing speech pattern, changing a thought pattern, maybe as radical as changing a location. Changing who you spend the majority of your time with, or who influences you, and how do they influence you. Just think of what would it mean if I stepped it up a little notch? And what would that result in? What would be the outcome of winning on a little higher level? And then settle into some of our affirmations, even like what we did last weekend from Catherine Ponder. That the universe is wired to support us in our journeys. Set a plan for next week. Oh, you can do journal time later and before you go to bed, or in the morning. But set some intentions for next week to game up. Who's going to have your ear this coming week? And how much of it are they going to have? How much are you going to be in an environment of positive encouragement, positive goals? How much will be dragging you down? And then what are you going to do about that? How will you offset that, or not allow it, or sequester from it? Just spend a minute game filming next week. And then just spend a second feeling the zone, feel the power of living a high effective timeline life. It's beautiful. Thank you all for sharing love. Emily says, I love you all. Kelly, I love you all. And thank you for loving me. Love that. Melissa, sending loving vibes. Oh, thank you. Kelly's praying for a job opportunity. So that will be on her list for this week. Searching, creating, manifesting. What do you want? What's the universe up to having you in this position of transition? There's a reason. Now let's send love to each other again. Just visualize a great big group hug. Aw. Mwah, right? Great big kiss on the cheek and hug. Don't we all need that? Yes, we do. Now, let's just, if you see the screen, focus on that planet where we live. And send love out to it. Talk about needing some love. And don't think that the love that we're sending out goes unfelt or unattended. Energy is energy, so send it out there. Love on our world. It's easy to do. Don't you wish you could just put your big arms around that planet and give it a big squeeze? And let's look at that picture of our planet and just focus a closing Om right there to it together. That's an Om of peace and love and healing. Yeah. And so it all is. And so it all is. I'm glad that the sports analogy helped. A couple of you said that that was beneficial. Whoops, I wanted to make sure that everybody saw that. Esmond was saying it gave her a new perspective. I'm glad for that. And this was good from Melissa, watching Arnold Schwarzenegger. Boy, talk about, that's a perfect example. Whether you agree with his career or, but just look at what he did. I understand that he broke into a gym on the weekends before he moved here, that he broke into a gym to work on the equipment or in the evenings or something. He did what it took, and he just was passionate and had that drivenness about him to perform on the level that he did. And wow, look at what all he did. So pretty cool, pretty amazing. Well, look, you guys, thank you so much for being part of this tonight, and for, the game will be there and the score will be what it is. And I'm glad that you guys stopped by to share in this tonight. And I have thoroughly enjoyed spending the time with you. I've been looking forward to this since I started putting this thing together, and was just really excited to kind of talk about our own little game here. And so this has been fun, and I really appreciate it. And thank you. We do have a great team here. We truly, truly do. And it's you guys that make it all possible. So let's all have a great week, and let's stay on our high game. Keep saying your prayers for me and hold me up to get me through this, because it has been a lot, but we're coming out. We're pulling through. So thank you guys for your support on it. And it is going to be, once I get on the road at the end of the month, it's going to be really fun. Then we're going to have some fun. It's going to be kind of wild. So, hey, Francis, good to see you. Good. Love the positive energy. Well, That's why we stop by here every Sunday night, get charged up for the week ahead, right? And know that we're hang in there. I told somebody today. He said, "How you doing?" And I said, I feel like that what they say about climbing Mount Everest when you get up in the death zone above 7,000 meters, and they say that you're really foggy and you're kind of. And I've just thought if I just keep putting one foot in front of the other and one foot in front of the other, that I could make it to the top. So we're going to do that. All right, you guys, have a great week. Thank you for being here. I love you to pieces, and I'll see you on Fun Astrology every day. And I'm going to try to get a subconscious mind mastery in there this week as well. And Robert and I are recording this week, so we'll keep it all going as we're still in boxes. And let's see, I think Kristen and Alyssa are up for next weekend. Isn't that the third weekend of the month? Yeah, so we'll enjoy them next week. And then probably this may be the last one of these that we do from this setting right here. It may be the last. Not sure on that yet. Well, it will be the last from this setting, but I'm not sure. I might be in the van, but across the way over here, might still be in North Carolina. But yeah, we're this wrapping up. We're going to change, but wait until you see the new set. Oh my gosh, it'd be amazing. Michelle, where are you? You said you're local. See, I'm picking up on this. I can give you a hand. Oh, I am all in. Let's see. Well, you know where I am. I'm in Maggie Valley. Why don't you? I don't do the Facebook Messenger, but I will watch for it. If you want to send me a message in there of how to contact you, I'll check that. But yeah, I still could use some help. That would be great. All right, you guys, have a good one. Thank you so much. And I will see you in a couple of weeks from a whole different deal. All right. And we'll be talking about it on the way. Thank you so much. Love you. Have a great week. Bye-bye.